Hey, welcome back to the garage. In this episode, we're going to be putting all those new parts back into the Z. The biggest one being that brand new 98 spec transmission. I'm really excited to get this thing in the car and see how much better it drives. Also, we're going to be putting in new exhaust mid pipes, a new clutch master cylinder, and a short shift kit. Lots of things to go in, so let's get started. First thing on the list, that short shift kit. Let's get to it. All right, I've got the new transmission fully outside of the box, and I've noticed a few details I didn't realize before. Let's take a look at it. So, as expected, it's absolutely gorgeous. It is freshly cast aluminum, no grease smudges or anything. It's beautiful. Just take a look at this all. Now that it's fully out of the box, you get a better idea of the condition of it. And you can see it's got new neutral safety switch and reverse light switches there, and looks like we have to plug in the speedometer sensor there, but otherwise it's a very complete transmission. And I also mean by that, it comes with a new throwout bearing right here and the sleeve behind there. So I bought these parts, not realizing they were already with the new transmission, so that's pretty cool. It also has a new shift fork boot right there, as well as a new shift fork. So I'm not going to be retaining this shift fork because I bought this forged piece right here, this shift fork. I believe these are out of 350Zs that are compatible with the Z32 transmission, and these are just stronger. So I'm going to swap this out for this pressed steel shift fork, and I'm also going to swap out the pivot point for the shift fork. This is a chromoly steel pivot point that's supposedly stronger than the original one. So I'm gonna put these two items in there, and then this thing will be ready to go back in to the car because we don't have to worry about that throwout bearing and pressing that onto the new sleeve. It's ready to go. So let's get to it. everything's been installed in the car. Well, everything but one final touch. Let's check it out. The original shift knob was looking a bit worse for wear. As you can see, it's pretty shiny and worn at the top. You can't even read the numbers very well at the top. So, I mean, it's just, you know, a car, 170,000 miles, you can expect that leather parts will end up looking like that. So, in an effort to preserve originality, I went out and bought a brand new leather shift knob. It is the correct one that the car would have come with the black stitching and everything. And gosh, just look at how nice that looks compared to the old one. Definitely worth the money to make it look brand new once again. Found this on sale for like $85, which might sound like a lot for a shift knob, but really that's a deal for one of these. So it's really simple to put in, and it is the cherry on top. So let's get it into the car. Now that's what I'm talking about. Woo! That is a short throw. So much better. So that's the transmission and all the other parts installed in the car, and there's one last thing left to do. Give it a test drive. Let's get to it. I will say the clutch pedal is quite a bit lighter than it was before, but the feel in the pedal, meaning the point at which you actually feel like the clutch is being depressed, is much better. And I would attribute that to the new clutch master cylinder that I put in, which of course is an original Nissan part. Now the clutch that I put in there is a more street clutch than a maybe higher performance clutch, but it is up to the task of dealing with a good amount of power, horsepower, and torque, which this car does put out. Yeah, much more direct shifter feel. That short shift kit in there. Now the car never really had a problem shifting through the 1 through 4 gears, but it was always 5th gear that would grind. But even going into 2nd, it's so much smoother, so much more less notchy, I guess I would say, than the old transmission. We'll get this thing up on the highway and see, even at a high RPM shift, how it does going into 5th. Those mid pipes I installed, they don't have those resonators in there, so I am getting a bit more exhaust noise and turbo noise too, which is always a good thing. I was afraid that the short shift would make it a little more difficult to drive around town, but honestly I think it's easier. It requires less effort to even shift between the gears, the most often used gears, 1 through 4. Makes it a breeze. It really makes it feel a lot more modern. Notice you don't have that clunk going into 2nd anymore. So even sitting here in neutral, without the clutch pressed in, the transmission makes a lot less noise. It used to kind of grumble before, and I assume that's because some bearings had become loose inside of there and all of that. Alright, so let's get onto the highway and try out that 5th gear. Shifts very good. wondered what a new transmission on one of these cars would have been like. When you went and bought one of these cars brand new in 1990, what would the driving experience have been like? Well, I think it's safe to say that I know now. It's actually quite good. I'm very happy with this. So needless to say, that's a marked improvement over where the car was before. The transmission is a peach. Now, it was about $2,700 all in to do this job, but I think it was money well spent because this is a classic car after all, and you got to do these things if you want them to keep performing at their best. So I hope you enjoyed watching and seeing what the improvement these 98 spec transmissions really have over an original worn out one. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys again next time.